I want to say thank you to Reverend Petra, Reverend Karen, and Reverend Vince for this opportunity to share with all of you here at the Center for Spiritual Living. Gratitude to all enlightened teachers, to Buddha and Jesus. Gratitude to my ancestors. Gratitude to my teachers, especially Thich Nhat Hanh. And gratitude to all my students and peers at the Dallas Meditation Center. My name is Brother ChiSing, and I'm an interfaith Buddhist minister, and I'm also the spiritual director at the Dallas Meditation Center. And, the first service, I basically read my talk, and I was told that I don't need to do that. I can just speak to you from my heart, so I'm just going to throw away my notes. I brought a special friend with me today, and so I'll tell you a little bit more about my friend Olaf later. So my topic today is on mindfulness of emotions. And before I tell you about that, I just want to say thank you to all of you who have been praying for me on my healing journey this past year through cancer. And I really believe in my heart of hearts that I am definitely on the way toward healing. And, sometimes in space-time existence here on the earth, it takes time for things to manifest. So maybe my physical healing isn't completely manifested yet, but you know what? My spiritual healing is a done deal. I love it. So, we all go through problems, through crises, through things that we don't understand that are difficult. But through our spiritual practice, through our meditation and mindful living, there's nothing that we can't overcome. Anything can be transformed. All grief, all despair, all fear can be transformed into love, joy, and peace. And that's what I want to talk to you today about. So, before I start, I want to honor my teacher, Thich Nhat Hanh, who, by the way, wrote an excellent book a few years ago called No Death, No Fear. I highly recommend it. I want to honor him by just sharing this short video message on non-fear.
When you look at a cloud, you think that the cloud as a being. And later on, when the cloud becomes the rain, you don't see the cloud anymore, and you say the cloud is not there. And you describe the cloud as non-being. But if you look deeply, you can see the cloud in the rain. And that is why it's impossible for a cloud to die. A cloud can become rain, or snow, or ice, but a cloud cannot become nothing. And that is why the notion of death cannot be applied to reality. There is a transformation. There is a continuation. But you cannot say that there is death. Because in your mind, to die means from something, you suddenly become nothing. From someone, you suddenly become no one. And so the notion of death cannot apply to reality, whether to a cloud or to a human being. The Buddha did not die. The Buddha only continued by his Sangha, by his Dharma. And you can touch the Buddha in the here and the now. And that is why ideas like being born, dying, coming and going, being and non-being should be removed by the practice of looking deeply. And when you can remove these notions, you are free and you have non-fear.
So, mindfulness, it means awareness. And so many times in our lives, we're just going by, so busy and distracted or addicted that we just don't have a very much awareness. But through the practice of mindfulness and meditation, we develop and cultivate the power of our awareness. And we need to be aware, because without awareness, we can't be aware of what's the real problems. And if we don't have awareness of the real problems, how do we possibly even come up with the real solutions, right? So we need awareness. We need to be aware of what's really going on, because we can be so deluded sometimes. We need awareness. But mindfulness doesn't just mean awareness. It also means non-judgmental acceptance. You see, many times when we're aware of something, like if we're aware of our partner, our immediate reaction, or even awareness of our breath. So everyone just be aware of your breath right now. Now, were you purely aware of your breath, or in the moment that you put your focus on the breath, did you try to control your breath? Did you notice that? So when you meditate on the breath, you notice that you have this ego tendency to control whatever you're aware of. Well, guess what? We do that to everything and everyone around us, too. So when you become aware of your partner not taking out the trash, you just want to control them and tell them what they need to do, right? Well, when we meditate on this, we realize that we do this so much more than we really care to admit. But through the practice of mindfulness, we can be aware, and then we can learn to have non-judgmental acceptance, letting things be, letting things flow, letting reality emerge and unfold naturally. We don't need to strive and struggle to make things happen necessarily. For example, the sun and the moon and the stars and the earth, they're all rotating perfectly without our ego needing to make it so. And this body is breathing by itself. That's why you don't need to consciously make yourself breathe. There's already divine wisdom inherent in this divine body. There is a divine wisdom already in you that already wants to become enlightened, that wants to practice spirituality, that wants to manifest positivity in the world, that wants to serve. It's already inside of you. You don't need to struggle and strive to make it so. What you need, though, is to stop putting all your focus on the multiple distractions and delusions that you've inherited while here. You need to just simply practice letting go of all of that so that you can come back to the natural power of your true self, the natural power of your inner wisdom. And that's what meditation and mindful living does for us. It develops our awareness and our acceptance of what's really already there. So really, enlightenment is not about trying to get something that you don't already have. It is rather to unfold and emerge what's already in you. That's what is true of all spiritual practice. So I'd like to go to the first slide of my PowerPoint now. And, well, you can go back to the other one if you want. I just want to say, no. I hope that you'll all go visit my website, awakeningheart.org, at some point this week and learn more. Because what I have to share today is only a very, very, very small piece of what I would like to share. Okay, so next slide. We all know about our body, but we also have energy systems within our body, not just physical, but there's also energetic systems, as well as, of course, infinite spirit. But in our energy body, you know, there are many, many energy centers. And in India, they've developed a tradition of 7 energy centers called chakras. Now, also, next slide, in the Chinese philosophy system, we've simplified it a little bit. 7, you know, is sometimes hard to remember, but 3 is a lot easier. Aren't Chinese just great? So, you can boil down these 7 energy centers into 3. There's the heaven center, the earth center, and the human heart center. So, these are called the 3 great powers. The powers of heaven, which symbolizes infinite spirit, the powers of the earth that symbolizes the wonder of physical life, and what connects the two, heaven and earth, is our humanity, the heart of our humanity. And when all 3 are in harmony, it's so easy to just unfold and emerge and naturally express the truth of who we really are. It's only when humanity is out of harmony with heaven and earth, spirit and body, when there's some disharmony, that's when we experience strange things called issues and problems. Now, as I was meditating on emotions as it relates to the energy centers, I thought about, oh, there are three main emotions, it seems. It can be boiled down to three emotions, and they seem to correspond to these three energy centers. Of course, the easiest one is love from the human heart, right? That's easy. Love in the human heart energy center. That's very, very natural. And then I thought, okay, what about the heaven energy center in the head? And I thought, well, peace, because when I have peace of mind, I just have this calm, peaceful feeling, serene feeling. You know, my mind is just at peace. And then there's also that lively, vibrant joy feeling, right? Where do I feel that mostly? Well, I think I feel it in my energy center in the abdomen, because that's where all the oomph, the fire of life is, especially, you know, in romantic situations, right? Joy, yeah. So, peace, love, and joy. Now, that usually is considered the positive emotions. And I thought, well, that's not the only kinds of emotions that exist. It's not always positive. There are other ones too, but where do they fit in? So the next one, I realized, in the heart, there can be anger. And in the head, there can be fear. Instead of peace and acceptance, there's fear. And then instead of joy, there can be this awful feeling in the gut of sadness, right? Feels so sad and heavy. So now I realize, okay, then everything really boils down to these 6 emotions that correspond to these 3 energy centers. And I thought that, okay, so the peace, love, and joy, they're the good emotions, but the fear, anger, and sadness, they're the bad emotions, right? That's what I thought. But I continued to meditate on this. And I realized, actually, they're all healthy. You know? And we cause ourselves problems whenever we think any one of those is something to be rejected or to be pushed away. That's actually what causes the problems. Not fear, anger, and sadness. They don't cause the problems. It's a rejection of them, suppression of them, dislike of them, and not wanting to deeply look at the message they have for us. That's what causes our problems. Not the fear, anger, and sadness itself. So actually, all of them are healthy emotions. And we need to learn how to mindfully take care of our emotions, to keep them in a healthy state, because if we are not mindful, we can very easily let them devolve into unhealthy manifestations. So, fear, when we don't keep them mindful in healthy ways, can devolve into unhealthy manifestations of paranoia, anxiety, deep, deep, deep fear, much more than just normal fear. And anger, if you're not able to take care of your anger health in a healthy way, can devolve into hatred, violence, maybe even murder. And also, if we're not mindful to take care of our sadness in a healthy way, that can also devolve easily into deep, deep depression and maybe even suicidal depression. So we need meditation, we need mindfulness, we need spiritual practice, because that's the only way to keep our emotions in a healthy state. You see, it's when, wait, stop, okay. It's when we fear our fear, hate our anger, reject our sadness, that's when it starts to devolve. You see? We need to learn how to love our emotions, take care of our emotions, accept them, and be with them. Because, you know, all emotions are just simply a communication system of the universe. You see? So when we feel love, joy, and peace, that's the message from the universe. Do more of that. Whatever it is you're doing that's helping you experience that, do more of that. That's the right way to go. And when we feel fear, anger, or sadness, we don't reject those feelings. We listen to the message, which is basically saying, hey, pay attention here. There's something that maybe we need to look at. But instead, we just try to kill the messenger, When the messenger is just giving us a message that will help us if we can look deeply through meditation and mindfulness. So, now as I was meditating, I realized, well, if the so-called negative emotions have an unhealthy side, well, what about the so-called positive emotions? Surely they don't have an unhealthy manifestation, do they? But they do, as I meditate on it. So, peace can lead to apathy if we're not careful, indifference. Because you see, they're very close, but they're not quite the same thing. Because you can say, all is well, I'm at peace, there's no real problems in the world, it's all an illusion, blah, blah, blah. That's not the kind of peace I'm talking about. Because that's actually more apathy and indifference and non-caring. You see, true peace is being centered but still serving. True peace is being grounded in who you really are, even as you move through the world of others' delusions. And you have compassion, even as you have peace. And then love, when we're not careful to keep it healthy and mindful ways, can lead to something like obsession, compulsive, grasping, clinging, so-called codependent love. But that's not real love. Because real love always gives one's beloved space to be who they are. Love always is filled with understanding and patience. But when you try to cling and hold on to somebody or some relationship, you kill it. So that's not really love, and that's very unhealthy. And joy, well, in college, they used to have these frat things going on and hazing, and they seemed to have lots of fun, but many times every year there was someone who got hurt or killed because of so-called fun. And that's what we call manic kind of joy, which is uncontrolled and many times can be dangerous. And it doesn't actually lead to something positive and healthy. So we have to be careful, And you know what? True joy really isn't always just this excited feeling. Many times true joy is this peaceful contentment, So if you're looking for joy, don't try to look for joy in excitement. Excitement may happen, but that's not the way to look for joy. If you want to find true joy, come to a place of acceptance and contentment, and then allow that inner joy to just radiate gently and softly. You don't need to shout up and down for true joy to manifest. All right, now, I also want to share in the last 5 minutes of my talk that as I meditated on these emotions and how to keep them healthy and how to bring them back from unhealthy to healthy, I also thought about how these energy centers correspond to my own healing journey and your healing journey, because we're all healing on some level. And I realized as I was thinking about, well, what should I do most for my healing? Should I do spiritual, mental, qi gong practice, or should I go just to the conventional doctors, or should I change my diet and do more exercise and eat supplements and things and herbs? And I kind of struggled for a little bit last year about, well, what's my main modality of healing? And I realized, well, the Chinese Taoist philosophy already had the answer, and I just needed to received from the resources of my ancestors. And really, there are our ancestors because, you don't have to be Chinese to have them as your ancestors, because all people are our ancestors. All of us together, we're human beings before anything else. So, what did the Chinese do? They had 3 kinds of practices. The heaven practice of Qigong, the humanity practice of acupuncture, and the earth practice of herbs. You see, they practiced integrative medicine, right? Holistic medicine. And that's what I chose to do. And that's why I believe I am well on the way toward healing, because I practiced spiritual mind treatment, and I went to see doctors, both conventional and alternative, and I have changed my diet drastically and take lots of wonderful supplements that are very healing. So, thank you so much to my ancestors for that wisdom. And the next slide, if it still exists. Okay, so I want to encourage you all to practice meditation and mindful living. I'd love for you to come to my meditation center. Did everyone get the card and the free CD as my gift to you? You're very welcome. I want you to especially come next Sunday to our Lunar New Year celebration that celebrates this integration of heaven, humanity, and earth here at the Center for Spiritual Living next Sunday night at 5:30. So I hope you all can come. It's going to be fabulous. We hope for a few hundred people to attend. And so I want you to clear all your centers, love yourself. And you know what? Next slide. It's not just for you, but all beings. Remember that, right? Love and service isn't just for you or human beings, it's for all sentient beings. So love your animal friends. And if you can help it, try to eat less of them, right? And pet more of them. Amen? So, and now we can go to the last slide. Thank you so very much for listening and loving and being together and practicing. And I want to conclude by sharing a dear friend of mine, Olaf, from the movie Frozen. He's been so helpful to me in my spiritual journey because he symbolizes spiritual audacity. Everyone say spiritual audacity. Spiritual audacity. Spiritual audacity. Spiritual audacity. That's what we need in the world today. And I just say thank you to Olaf for reminding me with humor the power of spiritual audacity.